Hey guys, sorry my chair is not the most steady. First off, I have to apologize for not making it on last night. We had some folks come late to get some chicks, and by the time they left, it ended up being after dark, and I didn't really have anything to talk about that wasn't garden related. There was some stuff I actually wanted to show you in the garden that I wanted to do in the garden. But since I missed my window, I wasn't able to do it. And then tonight I'm not able to do it because what I was planning to do, what I need to do, is spray for caterpillars. I use BT, which is also known as Thuricide. It's a bacteria that only affects caterpillars, and I need to spray it on my plants. The problem is it doesn't work after it's been rained on, and it's supposed to rain tomorrow, and it's actually supposed to rain quite a bit over this next week. So there's really no point in me applying it tonight. And then as for me being late tonight, it's been a day. I don't get migraines that frequently, at least not as frequently as I used to. But we have this front coming through, and so I woke up this morning with just a splitting headache, and I've had copious amounts of cold medicine. I've used this little doohickey to balance the pressure inside of my head. And it's made me semi-functional for most of the day, but it's starting to come back now. And I'm just ready for this front to move through so I can be functional again. And I'm saying entirely too many times. But anyway, so since I can't spray, so there's really no point in me spraying really any of my organic applications tonight. There was one thing that I saw pop up, and also I can't find my microphone, so I'm using this thing. Oh shoot, and I've got the wrong ear in. You guys really can't hear me, can you? Hang on. All right, if you guys, whoever is actually watching, please let me know if you can hear me, and let me know if this is any better with the right earbud in. I have to say, when I get migraines, it really does affect my mental capacity. So anyway, couldn't find my regular microphone, and so I'm having to use my earbuds, and I know the microphone's not as good, so I hope you guys can hear me okay. Anyway, so there was something that came up in one of my gardening groups, and the guy was very persistent in his point because he felt the need to post about this multiple times. It was just kind of ridiculous. But he said that he didn't feel he belonged in our gardening group because apparently our gardening group was not full of gardeners. It was only full of people who grow plants, which I found hilarious because if a gardener is not someone who grows plants, then what are they? And this is something that I really felt the need. There are a few things surrounding this frame of mind that I felt like I needed to point out. You do not need to be a landscaper to be a gardener. You do not need to grow a certain type of plant to be a gardener. You do not need to even keep your plants alive to be a gardener. All right, so let's put that out there first of all. You need the only thing you really need is a desire. All right. There's not like a certain volume of plants that you need to be growing. There is not a certain type of plant. I know people will get into arguments because you're not a gardener if you grow vegetables. You're not a gardener if you grow flowers. You're not a gardener if you keep a lawn. Lawns aren't my favorite thing to grow, but I'm not going to discount someone for their ability to grow one. I'm not going to discount someone because they're not doing things 100% organically. I mean, there have been times in my life that I haven't grown organically because I didn't know any better. I thought 7 Dust was normal. I thought Miracle-Gro was normal because that was what I had heard. That's what I'd been told. You see all of these advertisements for how great Miracle-Gro is and how great, their potting soil is and in their fertilizers and all these different things. And if you don't know any better, then that's what you use. And so I'm not going to tell someone that they're a horrible person and that they don't know what they're doing just because that's what they use. And it's possible that they have tried to do things organically and they got overwhelmed, or their garden didn't do well, and yet when they've used Miracle-Gro, their garden has done well, so that's what they use because that's what's worked for them. That doesn't make them a bad person. That doesn't make them a bad gardener. All right. It just means maybe they needed some more help. Maybe they need, a little bit more education to figure out how to get, sorry, my mom is texting me and anyway, maybe they need a little bit more education to figure out, how to get organic gardening to work for them. That's okay. We all need to learn something. The second that you start thinking that you don't have anything else to learn is the second you start falling behind. All right. And so as for thinking that you need some kind of a qualification to be considered a gardener, I kind of feel bad for the guy for thinking that, because one, he's obviously been in quarantine entirely too long because he feels the need to pick fights about this particular subject in a gardening group. But also, he's closing himself off to all of the other possibilities. And that's one thing that I never want any of us to do, is I don't want you to close yourself off from the possibilities of there being another way to do it. Because maybe it's just because I'm one of those crazy people who actually majored in math in college, but there's always more than one solution to a problem. There's always another way to get there, all right? And so, if something works for someone else, but you've tried it yourself and it didn't work, then that just means you have to figure out another way. It doesn't mean that it just doesn't work for you. It just means that you have to adapt it a little bit. That's okay. It's not a big deal. All right. That's a great thing with this, is we get to do the trial and error. We get to figure out how to make it work for ourselves. All right. And you know what? Guess what? If all you're doing is keeping one plant alive, if all you're doing is trying to keep one plant alive, you are a gardener. You don't need to, I don't know if you guys were on, well, I guess you would have to have been in my group to actually see the whole garden tour that I did. But my garden is nothing spectacular. You look behind me, it probably looks like I'm sitting in the middle of the rainforest right now. I have a ridiculous amount of weeds going in my garden right now. All right. A lot of people would say that I am a horrible, horrible gardener. But it's, we do the best we can with what we have. All right. I am not going to be winning any awards for how my garden looks. I'm not trying to. I'm trying to grow food. I don't need it to look spectacular. I don't need it to look perfectly manicured. I don't need it to look perfectly landscaped. Maybe someday it will, and I will tell you that if my garden ever looks perfectly landscaped, it's probably because I hired someone else to make it look that way for me. I know my limitations, and I know that I'm not the best at making things look pretty. And so it is what it is. If I ever actually try to make it look pretty, it's because I'm actually trying to turn it into like a showroom so customers can come here for the nursery. But I don't need it to look pretty for it to be functional for me, all right? And your garden doesn't need to look pretty for it to be functional for you either. You don't need, top of the line containers. You don't even need to buy new containers. You don't even need containers necessarily. You can take just about anything and turn it into a container for your plants, as long as you just drill holes in the bottom of it, all right? So that's my rant. Excuse me. That is my rant for tonight. I really don't have too much else to share with you guys. Feel free if you've got any questions for me. If there's anything you want me to talk about in particular in the future, leave a comment below this video. If you want to keep following along with the videos, please feel free to follow the page. You can also go under the choices underneath follow, and you can see this page first so that you can get notifications for when I go live or when I post anything. Danika's laughing at me. Why did you laugh at me, Danika? I must have missed the comment going along with it. I don't know. I am in such a fog today. I really hope that I don't look as tired as I feel. And I've had way too much coffee and not enough water today, and so I'm slightly dehydrated. So I'm gonna go in and drink copious amounts of water and make dinner, even though I really don't feel like making dinner. I just want to go to bed. So I will talk to you guys later. And well, I guess I'll talk to you tomorrow, provided the weather cooperates. If it's raining, I might be going live inside the house with my bedroom door locked, but I got to think about what I'll be talking about. So you guys have a good one. Talk to you later. Bye.